Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you're anywhere near the Oklahoma area, we'll be in Salisaw this weekend at United Faith Church. We'll have a great time, been there over the years. Look forward to being there this Sunday. We'll have a good time. Come if you can. And boy, we're coming to you every week to look at the different things that point to the coming of the Lord. And gosh, this last week, things happened so instantly. So the update that we do is to see what's happening and being set up for the Ezekiel 38 war, because we know the rapture's signless, but the second coming has tons of signs. So wow, I mean, you had in 1 week all the players of the Ezekiel 38 war literally come on the field. They're basically doing a huddle for the next event. So we get into end-time preaching, though, not as an escape theology, but as a hustle theology. It's not like people say, well, why do you need to talk about the coming of the Lord? Well, I've never seen a runner not know what the finish line looked like. They all know exactly what it looks like. So we'll cover some things this week that happened close to Israel, right on Israel's doorstep, and in the world that are making it super apparent that we're about to leave the planet. Why is this a big deal? God, Jesus of Nazareth, is about to come to the earth. How wild is that? Won't that be wonderful to see him face to face? So we look at all these things to push us, to help our local church, help our local pastor. So let's get into things that happened around Israel. We all know what happened this last weekend. Bashar Assad was kicked out by these Syrian Islamic rebels. How crazy. They took over the whole country. Look how fast that happened, and look how fast Russia and other countries didn't come to their aid. It was intriguing to see that happen, and he gets not taken away. The thing about this whole thing is, look at exactly what it was. It was a doorway for the entrance of the Antichrist. The Antichrist is called the Assyrian, and you had the head of Syria get moved out. He went over to asylum into Russia. So, I mean, you had the United States went ahead and came in and blew up a bunch of, I guess it was 75 targets they hit with B-52s, with F-15s, and A-10 Warthogs. So America came in to do some of that. America set up some satellite posts on the northern part of Israel. You had Israel set up satellite posts on the other part of Syria. Israel, we even went into the Golan and went over the thing, and they have troops in Syrian soil right now. So it's pretty crazy. But the legality of making a way for the Assyrian to come on the scene, the Antichrist is called the Assyrian. So that is remarkable. We should be freaking out because it's really coming to pass right in front of our eyes. But along with that, you had Emmanuel Macron. He's going to meet up with Saudi Arabia's leaders. What are they going to discuss? A Palestinian state. You've got this Palestinian state being pushed, and that's probably what the Antichrist's entrance is going to be on, them signing of that pact. The Bible calls it a pact with death and hell, a covenant with death and hell. Boy, you're seeing everything set up for that when you've got Macron and Saudi Arabia helping with that. It's getting so crazy. You've got Germany converting some of their basements in their buildings into bomb shelters. I mean, that's a statement saying they know something's coming. You got Sweden and Finland shipping out pamphlets about how to go to war, how to fire their equipment, how to use their equipment. Pretty wild when you see that happening right in front of our eyes. Now, Assad's downfall, him getting kicked out, this is something that's pretty detailed, but I want to give it to you. It's just amazing. There's a messianic significance with Bashar Assad getting kicked out. According to a 2,000-year-old prophecy by Rabbi Shimon Yakoa, the fall of Bashar Assad, referred to as the Nero of the East, will mark a significant moment in history, triggering the arrival of the Messiah from the house of David in Israel. The connection is further emphasized through numerology, how in the Hebrew his name equals Nero of the East. I mean, you got pretty wild when you got a rabbi prophesying what's going to happen 2,000 years earlier, and you see it happen in your lifetime. Israel's defense forces are getting ready for a post-Assad Syria. They're setting up more and more stations all over Syria. Reason being is Israel had to do a strike in Damascus. What did they hit? They hit another chemical weapons plant. What else did they hit? They hit another group of missiles coming down from Iran, working their way into Syria, so that Hezbollah can get them like that again. So Israel's having to do that. I wish we had the count of how many times they've had to do that. The thing that I like about that is everything is going back to Damascus. Remember, Isaiah 17 says Damascus will be removed from being a city. So you have things being set up for that right now. You got Russia has a weird hostility toward Israel. It used to be where Russia was right there supporting Israel. Now all they're doing is supporting all the nations that are trying to annihilate Israel. Notice Russia backing Hezbollah, Russia backing Hamas. Weird when you see the true colors of people coming out like that. You had this last week also, you had the Ukraine use a tactical missile system from America to strike Russia. Russia came out with a big deal about that because that was a big deal breaker to Putin. He said, if you use those tactical missiles from the U.S., we're going to use nuclear weapons. Well, that happened this last week. You had Turkey, Iran, and Russia. They're meeting in Doha. I guess what they're discussing, the conglomeration of these nations to get together and how to beat everybody else. What is that? That's the Ezekiel 38 war. You had drones come from Yemen. You had the U.S. destroyers shoot some of them down. You had Israel shoot some of them down. One of the drones made it into central Israel. So you've got all this stuff happening. You have California had a 7 on the Richter scale earthquake. You had a couple other earthquakes in some other places. You had NASA showed an asteroid that came within so many miles of the Earth. I mean, you have signs in the heavens, signs in the earth, all the things that the Bible said you'd see, you're watching it right in front of your eyes. Absolutely amazing. But we always look at all these things, but we go back to the Word. What's the Word say? Jesus said the generation that sees Israel made a nation and Jerusalem won back. He said that generation won't pass away till all things are fulfilled. That's happening right in front of our eyes. But then you've got the Hebrew language restored. You've got the Ethiopian Jews brought back. You got the fertility of the land of Israel. You got the revival of the Roman Empire. You have all these things happening. You have birds, 172 different species of predatory birds. You got foxes on the Temple Mount. You had the Dead Sea turned blood red where Sodom and Gomorrah was on the Day of Atonement last year. That's crazy. So you have physical things happening to the point of you look at this and go, could all these things be that real? I remember when we were getting our book ready, one of the guys said, we were fact checking you and we found out that all those things have happened. I'm like, exactly, they're happening. I'm not smart enough to come up with this. So sign after sign after sign after sign showing us we're about to see the King. Then you got signals. You had the blood red moons. You have the Bethlehem star. I mean, right in front of our eyes, you got all this stuff happening around Israel and all this stuff happening in the heavens because Jesus is just about to come. So what do? Help our local church, help our local pastor, get ready to meet the King. Think about it. God himself is about to come back to the planet. Their movies couldn't write it well enough, but you got it written right there in the Bible. This wonderful story where Jesus will come back and rescue Israel right there on the Mount of Olives. Wow, we're about to see him face to face. He died for you. God raised him from the dead, and Jesus is just about to come back. Have a real cool Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday. God bless you.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the EDU at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.